God, you are the faithful one who keeps thy covenant and merciful. 1,000 generations with those who keep the commandments, oh God. Yes, God is faithful. Today we're discussing about how God never fails us as human beings. Yes, human beings can fail us and they do it all the time, but God will never ever fail us. Today we're starting off with the story of Prophet Zephaniah. Prophet Zephaniah prophesied during the wicked times of King Manasseh. From the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 33, verse 1 to 6, we get to see the characters of this wicked King Manasseh. Number 1, he built altars for the worship of Baal. 2, he worshipped the stars. And number 3, he even went ahead and sacrificed his own sons as a burnt offering at the valley of Hinnom. So, with all the confusion of having a wicked king and wicked people, God had a faithful remnant by the name Prophet Zephaniah. From the book of Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 1 to 5 is the story of the people of Jerusalem. We get to see that Jerusalem was a city that oppressed its own people. It was a city with very corrupt people, and the city itself was also very doomed. But going to verse 5, we get to see the character of God, that despite his people going against his will, doing what was not pleasing before God, God remained faithful and he kept his promises to his people despite his people disobeying him. So God did not fail his people, even though his people failed him. From the book of Daniel chapter 3 is the story of Daniel and his friends, that is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who were accused of disobeying the king Nebuchadnezzar for failing to worship the gold statue that the king had set aside for his people to worship. And because these people knew God, and because they knew that the God they were serving was the real or the true God that the people were supposed to worship, they remained faithful to their God by not accepting to worship the gold statue. And because they remained faithful to God, God did not disappoint them. He sent the angel to protect them while they were in the fire, where the king had ordered his men to tie the 3 gentlemen and be thrown into that fire. So God protected Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego while they were in that fire. From the book of Revelation chapter 2 verse 12 to 13 is the message that was written for the people or for the church in Pergamum. Pergamum was the place where the devil dwelled. It was the place where Satan felt most at home. But in that same place where the devil dwelt or had his palace in, God had a faithful servant by the name Antipas. So the apostle John appointed Antipas to be the bishop in that church, in that place, Pergamum. And because these people were very wicked and they were really against God, went ahead and sacrificed this faithful servant of God, Antipas, inside the church. But God did not disappoint, or God did not fail his people. The fact that they went against his will, they did all sorts of evil to a point of sacrificing the man that God had sent to them to deliver them. God remained faithful. He kept his promises to his people. And from the Bible, we also read stories about God's faithfulness. For example, the story of the people of Israel when they were being oppressed by the Egyptians in Egypt. God made a promise that he was going to deliver them from Egypt, where they were working as slaves. And God actually made it possible, kept his promises by delivering his people, that is Israel, from Egypt. God also drowned the king Pharaoh and his army when they were going after the Israelites. God drowned this king and his army so that his people, now the Israelites, would actually be saved from the oppressors, now the Egyptians. Also, God made it possible by separating the sea, the Red Sea, making a way in the Red Sea for his people to pass. So throughout the Bible, we read stories of God's faithfulness. And us as human beings, yes, we're going through challenges. We face challenges day in, day out. But we should be encouraged when we read the Bible, when we read these stories, that God will never ever fail us, and that God is faithful. He never disappoints. He keeps his promises. So that's the end for today's discussion. And if you feel like you've been encouraged, make sure you share this message with your friend, family. Yeah. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And God bless you all. Thank you.